Χαίρετε. Ευχαριστούμε που είσαστε εδώ για το τελευταίο πάνελ, το οποίο δεν είναι όσο sexy είναι το technology in general, όμως χωρίς τούτα που να πούμε και τη βοήθεια που διάω ένας στον άλλο στο industry, and we switch to English, there will be no sexy. So what I just said is that thank you for being here for the last panel. It's not as sexy as technology. However, without what we're discussing here, there will be no sexy technology, at least in Cyprus. Let me introduce the panelists. Mr. Antonis Polemidis is the CEO of University of Nicosia. Mr. Theodoros Loucaides is the Director General of the Research and Innovation Foundation Cyprus. Vitaly Gordeev, he's the Principal Engineering Project Manager in JetBrains. Mrs. Maria Nicolaou is the Acting Director for the Productivity Center of the Government of Cyprus. And Dimitri is the Regional Business Development Manager for Alibaba. So the people in the panel cover the whole spectrum of public sector by two people, covering innovation, which is new talent, along with the upscaling with the productivity center, which covers the upscaling of existing workforce. Antonis covers the academia, and Vitaly and Dimitri cover the corporate world. And on top of that, Vitaly covers also a company that actually works with academia and contributes to new talent in Cyprus. So, lady and gentlemen, thank you. First question, which goes to everybody, is obviously in order to tackle this world problem, but let's focus on Cyprus. Cyprus' problem is that we have a huge expansion in the tech industry, and tech industry now is not only ICT. Software is everywhere, anything we touch. There's a great expansion in Cyprus, and there is a shortage of talented people. In order to tackle this, in order to have a future in this expansion, we need to have a collaboration between public sector, private sector, and the academia. Where are we now with this?
Should I start?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for pulling this together. I went and checked some figures before today's panel. So I'll start with the good news, the less good news, and what I think we need to do. The good news is the number of enrolled students in tech professions is growing. 5 years ago, across computer science, computer engineering, blockchain and cryptocurrency, and data science, we had 450 enrolled students. This year, we have about 775. A. B, the mix is primarily, and I'll explain why this is in the needs work, it's primarily Europe. So the country of origin is Cyprus. The top 5 are Cyprus, Greece, United States, Germany, and Russia. Sounds good. Now what's the bad news? The bad news is these numbers might have been okay in the Cyprus of pre-Tech Island, pre-Tech Hub. They are sufficient approximately for the prior domestic tech industry. They are nowhere near remotely sufficient for what's happening now in Limassol, right? This is not a University of Nicosia issue. We're about a quarter of the students in the country. Even if you multiply all these figures by 4, my estimate is it doesn't matter what we do in schools, how much advertising we do, it'll be hard to generate more than 500 graduates a year across all the Cypriot universities just from Cypriots in these fields. And whether it's 500 or 400 or 600, it doesn't matter. It's not sufficient for the needs of the industry. For the needs of the industry, we have to bring students from abroad. And practically speaking, we need to be able to have a competitive offer for students from third countries. In the European Union, they can come easily, but they also have excellent, generally free public universities. So it's very difficult to convince an excellent French computer science student not to enroll in the University of Paris and for some reason to come to the University of Nicosia. For third countries, though, we do not currently have a competitive offering relative to Europe. If you want to study in Germany, you can work 20 hours a week while you're studying in any field. You have 18 months to find a job, and then after those 18 months, within 3 to 4 years, you can become a German citizen. The current regime for undergraduates in Cyprus is you can work 20 hours a week at a gas station or picking tomatoes, which you can imagine is not very appealing to good computer science students, and then basically you have to leave. So to be very practical, what needs to happen is we have to improve the regime for third country strong computer science, computer technology students, and then work with industry to make an appealing pathway to employment for them.
Okay, thanks. Mr. Loucaides, where are we now? Before we go to what you do, where are we now with this collaboration between public sector, academia, and the private sector?
So let me start by giving you a number which I'm always really concerned with. We have, as a country, the highest percentage of graduates with tertiary education. But when you look at the CEDEPOP figures, there is a gross misalignment of skills, completely unmatched with the needs of the local market. And as Antonis rightly pointed out, this market is now bigger because of the influx as a result of government incentives of a number of tech companies, and the demand is growing faster. So it's something that we need to go back to the drawing board and change the strategy, because it seems that it's not working. And this is where I would actually, obviously, I think, Antonis, there is also another angle to this. If we can get our own people to follow STEM, I think we can tap into that pool, in addition to bringing foreign students into the country as well. So it's for us to inspire the younger generations. This is something that we do need to take seriously. I don't think we are. Having said that, I don't think that other countries are doing better either. So, but we're on a mission to inspire. So that's priority number one. And how do we inspire? By showing them what Cyprus is all about. Gone are the days of being a civil servant. Gone are the days of being a bank clerk. You know, people who used to work in banks didn't think what happened was going to happen, right? Yeah. But it did happen. Shit, apologies for, excuse my French, shit does hit the fan. So we have to actually make sure that we equip the younger generations with the right skills. There are technologies that are transforming the workplace, and they need to be familiar on how to use those technologies. Because one of the things that we're hearing from businesses, Cyprus-based companies, is that they can't find, at the moment, the skills so they can get the people hit the ground running when they go into the workplace. So that's priority number one. Priority number two is to align the existing research, and we do have talented people in academia, with the productive base. And how do we do that? We need to increase what we call the absorptive capacity of the system. What is the absorptive capacity? It's the ability of a company to do research and innovation, mainly on the innovation side, and be able to have jobs, offer jobs, that require highly skilled people. Because there are people in the research organizations, but at the moment, we can't get them to move into the industry. So we can tap into that talent pool as well. And third, what we could do, and we should do, is actually show to everyone that Cyprus is changing. Because Cyprus is positioning itself on a global supply chain and a global value chain. So as we're effectively repositioning the country, transforming the economy, people should understand, and that's the message for us to pass on to everyone, that we will need the skills in order to be more effective in that positioning in an increasingly more competitive world.
Thank you. Before we go to Vitaly and Dimitri, let's stay with the public sector. Maria, what do you feel is, because you see things from a more realistic point of view, meaning that you work with people that are in the workforce and you upskill them. How do you see this collaboration so far?
Okay, thank you very much for the invitation and for the opportunity to be here to discuss this very important topic with you. I would like to start with some good news for Mr. Polemitis. The prospect of granting a work permit to third country nationals after graduating from Cypriot universities, possibly linked with their field of study or their achievement, is actually on the table, is as part of the measures currently being discussed to improve the attractiveness of the university education in Cyprus. Okay, so that's some good news for you. Because indeed it is recognized that the choice of a country for a young individual has to do with with the possibilities of employment in that country after graduating. So as far as the collaboration between the academia and government and the industry, well, there's a simple answer in this question. The collaboration could be better, and we have to work on this. Okay. If you allow me to refer to some more initiatives of the government towards this.
I will come to that later.
Sure.
Especially for you. Vitaly, you being one of the influx that Theodoros mentioned, you came to this country. We promised you a lot of things, I'm sure.
Yes, and we've got it, yes.
Okay, how do you see this, the collaboration between industry, public sector, and academia?
I was going to say that it's on the second level. Now, thanks to government, it's 2.5, my estimation. So what we have done, we brought a company. We've got unprecedented support from the government to actually create a company and move 200 people here. We relocated everyone thanks to migration. We've got excellent tax regime, and we attracted more people this year. So level 1 is definitely here. Then we usually have a practice to create our own workforce by working with universities. I assume we have some people from university from Paphos here. So we brought about 100 students and a dozen of professors to University of Paphos. And so it's the second level. So we've got a program, we got courses, we got students. It's our future workforce, and not just ours. So our students not limited by our company at all. So the call Cyprus gets those students. And yes, my next level is actually to keep those students here in Cyprus, in our company or in any other companies. And I second Mr. Polemitis that interns should not work in tomato fields. They should go to our company or to any other for internship, and they could get work visas as soon as they graduated.
Thank you. Dimitri, you are in a similar regime than with Vitaly. What is your experience up to now? How do you see the collaboration?
Yeah, so first, let me start that we are actually on the different level comparing to Vitaly. Since we just recently started our academic program for universities, and we're just having several months just starting announce it to our Cyprus partners, and we are open to speak about this with the universities here. So this program is having kind of multi-tier cooperation. So first of all, we are cooperating directly with the universities, and we are based on their not only current requirements, but it's based on their future strategy, because we are not only touching the education itself, we also discuss the fundamental development in terms of the computer science. And we had some success cases already happen in Asia, and we are able and we want to develop this in Europe. From Cyprus perspective, we see a big opportunity here. So we hear that there is a demand for the high-skilled engineers, and we are open to provide our solutions. So solutions is not only about the fundamental like sciences itself, but it's having some applied programs. So in simple words, it means we are providing for the full faculty or for the full class of engineers the test environments, so they can use the clouds and different services to touch by own hands and to understand how it works. Also, it can support any new research that the separate student have, or the whole team, or even including the professor who's building some fundamental research. So it's very, very flexible, but at the same time it gives the opportunity to become more closer to the real technologies we have now. And what is important to say is that technologies will never stop. So it's required to have this knowledge and to continue your your training, your skills improvement if you are choosing the cloud and AI market, especially global one.
Thank you. Maria, we have the workforce. I know the Cyprus Productivity Center has upskilling programs. Can you give us a bit more on that? Because I think that the Productivity Center of Cyprus is not promoting itself enough, to be honest.
You're right about this. And this is due to other pressing priorities of the ministry. The last decade, the emphasis was on welfare because of the successive crisis. But now is the time to go into the skills development priority. So I'd like to refer to a few initiatives. First of all, the European Year of Skills Action Plan. This action plan was developed by our ministry and approved by the Council of Ministers in May. And through this project, we're reaching out all the workforce in Cyprus and future workforce as well, like students and soldiers, to inform them about the jobs of the future and about the necessary green and digital skills. So we aspire to inform about the importance of this set of skills for their personal and future professional life, and to encourage them to seek further training in this area. There are a lot of training opportunities, free training during this period as part of the Reform and Resilience Plan offered by accredited training institutions in the private sector through the Human Resource Development Authorities Plan. So there are, in the coming months, there will be training for IT professionals.
This happened in the premises of the Productivity Center?
Not only in the premises of all accredited training institutions. What we do at the Productivity Center at our premises is IT training for people over 55.
Okay.
So
that covers me as well. Huh?
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. And allow me to refer to the very important initiative, EuroSkills Competition, which is the biggest skills excellence event in Europe. It is held every other year and organized by the WorldSkills Europe competition. Cyprus is participating in this event since 2010. This year, last week, we were there with a team of 6 young people up to age of 25. A group of experts to compete with 6 skills. Currently, the EuroSkills competitions and demonstrations are around 50 skills, some of them in the information and communication technology, manufacturing and engineering technology, just to mention a few, robotic system integration, industrial control, mechatronics, mobile robotics. Now, we have to admit that our presence so far was not very successful because of the model we have used for organizing national competitions and selecting the winners to participate in the EuroSkills competition, again due to the low budget allocated to it. But with the support of the ministry that agreed to a substantial increase in the budget for the next year and the years to come, our center will establish a new transparent and outreaching model of implementing the national competitions and sending participants to the European competition. So in the following months, we'll be contacting academic institutions and the industry, share with them the information about the opportunities for implementation of national competitions with some state subsidy. And we believe that tech companies and academic institutions are an important pool of competitors and experts in the field. So for the benefit of participating and actually spreading the benefit to the whole economy. The next competition will be held in Herning in 2025, so this is proof of it. This is a gift given to us by the Denmark competitors. So we were looking forward for a strong presence of Cyprus in the tech and IT sector.
Thank you very much. Since we are in the public sector programs of handing out money and free upskilling, Mr. Loucaides, tell us the programs that the Research Foundation offers for organizations to promote research innovation, along with the programs that blend in the younger generations, helping in the problem that we're all facing.
I'm going to start with the younger generations.
I think you should start with the fact that it's not free money.
No.
Yes, I know.
Too much government money makes people lazy, Christos. So we start with the younger generations, and it's something that we've introduced last year. This is the second year it's been running, and it's very well received, the research and innovation internships. What is that about? It's about giving the opportunity to university students to work in innovative companies, those who have funded projects from us or the European Commission, or have an innovation certificate issued by the Deputy Ministry of Research, Innovation and Digital Policy. Why have we done that? Because we've seen that there was an inefficiency in the market. We train chemical engineers and we send them to do a placement in a pharmacy, okay? So, and that's the wrong message. So the Research Innovation Foundation has come up with this program, and we're putting people to acquire skills in the businesses that are actually doing research and innovation. We are also offering a number of training programs to equip them with the skills of the future. What we see at the moment in the market is that people lack professional qualifications, new product development, design thinking, project management. These are skills that we so much need, but we don't have them at the moment. So we cannot, it's not in our mandate to equip the current workforce, but we start from the younger generations and we give them the opportunity to learn collaboration, team working as well. These are skills that we don't really have in Cyprus, and we need to do better in equipping the younger generations with those skills as well. The soft skills, it's not just about the hard skills. So we're working with schools, we're working with mentors to take kids through the journey, and we make it an interactive experience. So in terms of other schemes we have, when it comes to the younger generations, people who come back from the university now, the Research Innovation Foundation has a plethora of funding programs and services that we can support them start their own business. Frankly speaking, I wish I knew there was a foundation when I came back to Cyprus about 20 years ago that I could apply and get money to start my own startup. I didn't know of it. Today, we're more visible, and we invite doers, people who come back from university or graduate from the local universities, to give it a go, right? And we know that it takes a certain appetite of risk, and this is another message to the younger generations: don't be afraid to take the risk, especially in the very young age. From there on, we're investing a lot of money in our innovation programs. What do? We try to support local enterprises get up the ladder of R&D. What does that do? It creates new jobs in high-skilled areas. It creates better paying jobs. It creates the absorptive capacity that I spoke in my introduction, so we can get the talent pushed into the market and actually start hit the ground running and deliver innovative products that have the potential to enter in the international markets.
The micro.
So as we're in a very competitive market with transformative technologies coming into the workforce, what we want to do is actually have Cyprus as a launch pad to allow everyone from here to operate internationally in the European Union and have access to the bigger opportunities that gives us. So we're having a lot of programs to support anyone. It doesn't matter if you're a very young age or someone like you, Christos, to invest in R&D, learn about R&D, get the skills, and make innovation happen.
Very good. So we heard that there's a lot of things happening in the public and in the European public sector. Vitaly, I know your company has a lot of initiatives and a lot of interaction with academia in upskilling. And this is happening in Cyprus. Can you tell us a bit more?
Yes, sure. So let's start with the universities, and it's not upskilling, it's more like
skilling.
Skilling, yes, creating a
All
workforce. Right. But other than that, we are investing in upskilling. So we have tech talks, we invite people, it's open talks by technical people, by our researchers. We invest in research, which is not production at all, but it is, so we create articles, we investigate machine learning and modern stuff. We have monthly or bi-weekly talks in our offices or at the university. Anyone is free to attend, because it's create better ecosystem, I would say. So we love developers. We enjoy computer science as a discipline, and frankly speaking, it is we create products for developers. We create programming languages for developers.
I think you have also products for schools and education.
Yes, and we have product for education. So we have JetBrains Academy set of tools, which is intended to create more developers to teach and learn them it's not for Cyprus, it's for the whole world, so it's not an academy. So you see we have everything from our local interests to, say, community interests and to the global development ecosystem. So that's our range of interests. That is how it comes.
Very good. Dimitri, you are a global, more than a global company. You are one of the globaliest companies in the world. How do you handle the lack of talent, not in the sense of not being talented, but the lack of actual people in our industry? How do you tackle this in other countries?
Yeah, so
you just moved to another country?
I just moved to another country, yeah, but we are more talking about the tech, so computer science education, not like business one. So we are working differently because we have different business in terms of the region. So for example, we are the biggest cloud in China, and we started from there. Then the next years we become the leader in Asian APAC region, and every time it goes with lots of investments. So the first investments come to the infrastructure, so to data centers, team, and at the same time because we keep growing and we want more talented people to join our teams. So more often we're finding the new talents locally. So for us, it's important for the people who knows the local market, who knows the local situation in terms of the technology, in terms of the demand of, like as we started our discussion, if there is countries who have the demand for tech talent who hasn't, so it's different stories. So in Europe, for example, we have big teams in Germany and in the UK, and we have wide cooperation in UK, for example, with different universities. And for sure, we are happy to have educated, talented people to join our team, engineering team locally, and that is why we are interested in cooperation with university, because we can bring values, we can bring tools, and how we can easier set up the education process and provide some hard skills for the talents. So actually, we are not only working with the universities this way. We are working with partners, local partners, global partners, and we are providing lots of trainings, lots of events. We have boot camps with different companies, and we are also sponsored some global and local events like mathematical physics events for schools. And as I said, we are very flexible and open, and we are more based on the situation happening in the local market. So this is the overall.
Okay, thank you. Andonis, I left you last for a reason, because everything everybody wants in here, you're the first receptor. Everybody comes and tells you, Andonis, make some more.
Right.
And you very nicely said in a meeting we had, I have my nice little magic stick, and you make tech engineers and scientists. So the question is, how do you respond to these people that come to you to create more tech people? And from your experience, what should be done?
I think it's a very hard question, right? The easy topic is to solve the regulatory barriers to bringing people in and to keeping them. We had a PhD student who is an expert in machine learning and valuing NFTs, and I had to personally intervene to keep him from getting thrown out of the country. And at that point, the ministry told me, hire someone locally with the skills. This was 2 years ago. As if there are a lot of people with PhDs in machine learning and NFT experts.
Maria has solved your problem.
Yeah, well, we have to solve it. This is table stakes, right?
Yes.
And I think it's a shift in mentality. There is a global war for talent, right?
Correct.
There's probably no more leveraged accelerant to an economy than bringing more tech talent to the country, and everyone knows this. America competes for them, UK competes for them, Germany competes for them, and so on and so forth. So this means, and this has been my experience to some degree with tech companies and with other industries. We have similar problems in the shipping industry, for example. People come and say, we want more. I say, well, thank you very much. But the supply and demand, Adam Smith has solved this problem, right? We have to make things more appealing for them. In the blockchain program, everyone gets 10 job offers. 1 year, Deloitte Global called me and said, I want 50 people. I said, thank you very much. They all have jobs, and half of them want to be entrepreneurs anyway, right? So you have to get them at the front end of the funnel, whether it is normal undergraduates, master's students, PhD students in specialized areas that you then want to hire. We have to make the package more appealing. So the combination of how much they pay for tuition, how much they pay for housing, what are their job opportunities afterwards. We as a society, let's say, but I think to the large degree the tech industry, because that is where the cash flow is going, has to pay up, right? I believe we have an opportunity to have a lower cost base than Amsterdam or London or New York or San Francisco, substantially lower. But it's not going to be 90% lower, right? It's not going to be 80% lower. And so you want to attract away a PhD student who would otherwise go to Germany. Well, for sure their tuition should be sponsored, their housing should be sponsored, they should be paid, and they should have a great job offer on the other end, and then that's appealing, right? Because if you start off, it's the same issue that we have in every other industry. Cyprus 5 years ago was not known as a tech hub, right? Cyprus today is not known as an education hub, right? There are countries who have had good universities for 800 years, right? So if we want to have top-tier talent, and I think that is what we should aim for. In technology, more than almost any other industry, this idea of the 10x developer, I think is broadly true. It's not the concept should be, let's save money, let's get someone worse. Bring the great person. The great person will solve problems that other people won't solve, and build whole industries, build whole companies, build organizations that will then create jobs for another 20 people. And so I do think everyone agrees on the objectives. I want to reiterate, because I know Theodoros mentioned it, I am fully supportive of doing as much as possible to help Cypriots move to the technology industry, but I cannot emphasize enough, because I have checked the numbers, it cannot solve the problem. This is a complement to actually solving the problem, right? Of course we should do it, but despite what we say, the numbers are changing. I checked this year, as many students will enroll at the University of Nicosia in computer science as in accounting, right? 5 years ago, it wasn't like that. Accounting was like 3 times more. This year, it's evened up. I don't know where the right balance is. It's not going to be 0 accountants, right? So in another 2 or 3 years, we'll have the right balance domestically, but there's only 1 million Cypriots. And so if you have 1 million Cypriots, and the number of people, there's 8 to 10,000 graduates a year from high school. The number of people who have the talent and inclination, even in the best case, for computer science, computer programming, blah, blah, maybe it's 5-7% of the population. In the United States, which has a mature educational market, 5% of university graduates are in computer science, computer engineering fields. Maybe it'll go to 7%. So if you take the extreme case, that every Cypriot studies at a Cypriot university, which is not true. Every Cypriot ends up working in Cyprus, which is also not true, right? And nor is it desirable to be true, right? If a Cypriot gets a great job in Athens or in London, they should go. that means Cyprus domestically can produce 500 to 600 a year at best available for tech companies in Cyprus, and it won't be that. It will be a smaller number, right? So we should do it, and maybe that will move the number, and it won't be 400, it will be 520. We should absolutely do that. But the way I see it, for us to fulfill our objectives as a tech hub, we need several thousand a year. We need an extra zero. An extra zero is not going to be from doing the same things and hoping they get better. Because I had mentioned in our prep for the panel, I've been on some version of this panel for the last 7 years. Everyone says the same things, and until so far, we haven't done even the basic things that might change the situation, right? Hoping that people will come, it's not going to do anything. We have to change the legislation. We tried to change it 3 years ago. We lost by 1 vote, by the way. So hopefully we'll change the legislation. And changing the legislation is also not enough. Because once we change the legislation, we are still like Germany and the UK and the US, but much less known, much less developed, et cetera, then we have to work. And what we have to do is, yes, promote it, but we have to make better offers to people, right? It has to be that someone who says, I am not willing, I'll conclude on this. Sometimes we'll say, oh, well, let's start with the weaker and we'll work upwards. I don't think we should go that way. The fourth industrial revolution is going to happen very quickly. This can't be a 30-year project, right? It can't be a 30-year project that the next 5 years we get the third-tier students, then we go for the second-tier students, and then in 15 years we'll go for the first-tier students. In 15 years, magari that we don't have AIs running everything, right? So I think we can aim now with an industry in Cyprus for students to end up in, to go for great students and make great propositions to them so that everyone wins. So I know we're out of time, so I'll be quiet.
Okay. Last comments from each one. First of all, Antonis very nicely put it, size matters. 2, we need to change strategy. We are changing. Theodoros told us a lot of things. Maria told us a lot of things. And I'm pointing to you too because historically, what's harder to shift is the public sector. We have academic programs with the private sector. And we need to change our story abroad to be more appealing, apart from the salaries. So in order for this not to be the 98th panel you took part in, let's have a minute of closing from each panelist. Dimitri.
So, first of all, it was first panel, and we just, as I said, we just recently started to search the opportunity of cooperation in academic and with universities and schools. So, as I said, we are open and we'll be happy to discuss the opportunities and provide our knowledge and experience to the students and to build the test environments, any cooperation. Just my personal view, like as I'm new here in Cyprus, so I believe every country have some challenges, and of course, but the good thing is that business is open to cooperate. So this is the point I would like to highlight in the end. Thank you.
Thank you. Maria.
This is my third or fourth panel. Of course, I'm not going to solve the problem as Maria, but I can only testify on the willingness of the ministers, especially the Minister of Education and our Minister of Labor, to look into this problem, because they both acknowledge the fact that the flow of graduates in the STEM field is slow to support the growth of the sector.
Thank you. Vitaly.
Yes, I would say that we have reached level 1 and 2. logical level 3 is to keep those people which we have built, and in our company we are losing senior people. They are migrating to Western Europe, to Amsterdam, Munich, Berlin.
There is a better place than Cyprus to work?
There are more opportunities. It's not a better place, but opportunities are much higher. And the fourth level, I have the fourth level in mind, that we need to attract those senior people back. And we actually have such, we have first people coming back from Germany to Cyprus, senior people having German citizenship back to here because of taxes, because of climate, because of everything. And I would like to have those two flows to be equal, or even that the fourth level prevail, the third one.
We hope. Theodore.
I don't know where to start from, Christos. Okay, so I agree with Andonis 1,000%. As someone who has spent about 18 years in the private sector, worked abroad in large multinational corporations, now I'm on this side. I think the government needs to move faster. Someone needs to. We need intrapreneurs in government. I call them governtrainers, right? So, at the Research Innovation Foundation, in the last 3 years, we've managed to work faster. I think that the whole of the government needs to work faster, because Andonis is spot on. By the time we're done with the public discourse, it will be a completely different ballgame. And we're playing catch-up. We need to leapfrog. We need to put ourselves ahead of the wave and let the wave carry us into the future. So something has got to change. I actually think, Andonis, that now is the opportunity, because we have about 130,000 companies. What I expect to see in the next few years is clustering, right? Mobility is something that will keep people in the country. As someone who spent years in London, you live from one place, you're going to go somewhere else, take your skills with you. That doesn't exist in Cyprus. What we need is more multinational corporations, companies like Alibaba, JetBrains, who offer opportunities in the global marketplace. And when you have people moving around, roaming around, job mobility, you transfer skills, you transfer knowledge, you build a robust workforce. And Cyprus, as I've said, and I'm going to close with this, can and should position itself in the value chain of knowledge-intensive labor market, because there are so many disruptive technologies that are going to change us, and they're going to change us for good, that if we don't act now, it's going to be too late. And I'd rather say, let's do it, rather than carry on talking.
Yes, I agree.
Well, you know what? It's change or die.
Yes. Andoni,
I think I said it before. I won't repeat.
repeat it in one sentence.
We have to think bigger and move faster.
Very good. I think that the outcome is that we all agree we have a great future in this country. We have all the ingredients to be successful. Because of my role in the company we have, I travel around the world. I don't see that other countries have more stuff than we do. They do it better, more systematically, quicker. And to be honest, everywhere I go, everybody envies where we live. So let's take advantage of what we have and build on that to become better, faster. Thank you very much, everybody. Be here.